Hello, my friend. Before we dive into today's episode, I have something I'm so excited to share with you. I have been quietly working in the background on my very first program. It is all about establishing a powerful habit so that you can live life intentionally, and I just opened up the waitlist. I invite you to click on the link in the show notes, get on that waitlist, find out all of the details, and join me. It will be so fun and so transformative. And now, your episode. Hello, hello. Welcome to From Impossible to Inevitable. I am your host, Megan Bauer. Thank you so much for joining me today and pushing play on today's episode. This is episode 164, and I am so excited about this episode. First of all, the background. I love to give you the background on how these episodes come together. I think it's so fun, and I love to hear the background on how things come together for the people that I follow. So I hope it's fun for you. But this morning, I knew it was podcast day, and I had one topic, and I do kind of batch my content a little bit because, setting up for the podcast and getting ready for it, blah, blah, it's kind of a process. So I might as well do a few at one time, right? So I had one topic and I was like, okay, what's my other topic? What am I supposed to talk about? What am I supposed to share? What's out there for me? This is seriously how I come up with my content. And I was sitting out on the porch and nothing was really coming to me. And I was like, okay. And I was looking around in the yard and I was like, maybe I'll pull some weeds. I'll set a timer. I'll pull some weeds. I'll see what comes. So as I'm pulling weeds, of course, without fail, something comes to mind. And this time it was a conversation that I had with my husband, Jake, just last night. I was telling him about some struggles that I was having and my thought processes and what I know logically versus what I'm feeling emotionally and the conflict between the two and all of this. So this conversation was kind of replaying in my mind, and I realized that there are several decision-making processes that we have, and they're not all good for all the things, right? There's not just one go-to decision-making process. So as my mind grabbed hold onto this thought about all these decision-making processes that we have, I was like, okay, I'm listening. Like what you certainly have my attention. What are all of these decision-making processes? And then this whole thing just came together in a beautiful, beautiful way. And I'm really excited to share this with you. So I came up with 6 decision-making processes that we have. Um, by I came up with, I mean like that I wrote down and gave attention to, and that I'm going to talk about and discuss and kind of go into the nuances of each because they're all great decision-making processes. I'm not demonizing one over another. They're all great. They all have their strengths and they all have their weaknesses. Not every decision-making process is good for every single situation. So I'm not trying to be an advocate for one over the other. I think what's important is that when we come to a situation and we, don't are wrestling with it, we're struggling with it, that we consciously decide how we want to make that decision, what choice, how we want to come to the choice that we want to make, and use the decision-making process that is appropriate for it, right? Okay, you ready? I'm ready. I'm so excited. So the first one is the head, right? We make a lot of decisions in our heads. And these are like the analytical, the factual decisions. This sounds a lot like this makes sense. I'm choosing this because of this fact and this fact and this fact. And when we make a decision from our head that maybe we shouldn't have, sometimes we say things like, I was so in my head, or I'm too in my head about this, or whatever. And we recognize through our language that that's an issue sometimes. So making decisions in our head is so great for situations that rely on facts. So I was trying to come up with some examples for each one of these. Some of these are kind of silly, but you kind of get the point. So a decision that I would make from a headspace is like, I choose to feed my dog this dog food because it has this ingredient and this ingredient and this ingredient, and those give my dog these benefits, right? That's so dry, so analytical, so factual. You could go look up all of those things. You could look up the dog food. You could look up the ingredients. You could, figure out the benefits, right? Like that is so cut and dry, right? And we make decisions this way. So I often make decisions in my head based on efficiency. What's the most efficient way to do this? And I get caught up in that sometimes because sometimes efficiency isn't actually the priority. Sometimes other things are more important than efficiency. My brain is just really wired for efficiency. What's the best way to do this? What's the most efficient way to do this? Um, so I get in my head when I'm searching for efficiency. And being in your head, making decisions in your head are not great for things that don't rely on facts. And the big warning here is, what is a fact? Like, what is an absolute fact? I would be very careful about what is 100% fact, because a lot of things are perception, they're experience, they are our perspective. And we live in this world where we think that it's concrete, we think that it's fact, but it might not actually be fact. So we could say, well, I'm making this decision because it's the best way to do it. But maybe that's just the best way you know of. Maybe that's just the best way that's been modeled to you. Maybe that's just the best way for whatever. But there are actually other ways that would have been better or that could be better. So be very careful about what is the fact, like what is a fact. And for each one of these, I came up with a super fun superlative. So I thought that would be fun. And like a superlative is, oftentimes they do that for senior years in high school. Like, this is the class clown, most likely to succeed, most likely to be an artist, most likely to whatever. Those are superlatives. So if I were to give your decision making in your head a superlative, it would be the analytical one, right? Like, this is the one that's just like facts, numbers, cut, dry, boom, go. Okay, we got the head. Now we have the heart. The heart is a lot of feeling. It's emotional. It sounds like, this feels right. I'm really drawn to this. And it's great for, and maybe this is my own personal opinion, which is so fine because this is my podcast. It's great for making big personal decisions. Your heart often arises around situations when you are creating or working on your life or on your life journey and reaching your potential and moving upwards and forwards and becoming more of who you are. Your heart comes in. So examples like getting married. Often we check in with our heart. What does your heart like? Is your heart drawn to this person? What does your heart say? Or following a vocation or pursuing goals. Setting goals from your heart is going to be so much more impactful than setting goals just because you think you should or because everybody else is doing it or whatever. Having your heart make those decisions is going to be so much more powerful. Now, I think making decisions from your heart more often than not is going to play out in your favor. However, they might not be great for situations in which you need to justify your choices because people won't always respect the decisions that you make from your heart because they're not you. It doesn't make sense to them. It's, they're not who you are. They don't feel what you're feeling. They don't know what you know. They're not in your body feeling it. So people have a hard time accepting decisions made by other people's heart. Like if you've had a friend or a loved one marry someone that you're just like, I can't believe they're marrying this guy or this girl or whatever, but they like it's totally right for them. Like you have a hard time. It's like, I don't know what she sees in him or what he sees in her or whatever it is, because you're not that person. And I'm not saying that it's always the right decision. I'm just saying that following your heart is tricky and it's a very deeply personal place to make decisions from. So the warning here is that in order to make decisions from this place, from your heart, you have to be able to clear out all the other noise. You have to be able to get quiet with yourself and be able to listen. Tapping into your heart's guidance takes practice. And it might also seem counterintuitive. Your heart may say to do one thing, but other decision-making methods say other things. And so you need to develop this trust in yourself and in your own personal wisdom. The superlative I would give this one is the quiet one. Your heart is not usually going to be loud. In order to tap into this guidance system and this decision-making method, you have to get quiet. You have to get still. You have to block out everything else. And then once you have your answer, you have to trust it. And that's almost the scary part. Okay, so the third one is the gut. This is a physical sensation in your body, right? Like in your gut, in your stomach. You feel this decision-making process. It sounds like, I don't think so, or I just know, or I knew it. Like that, it has that like conviction and that power to it. It's like, oh, I knew it. I knew it. I had that today even, and it was a dumb thing. So I don't want to go into the story of it, but I was just like, something was nagging at me and I knew. I knew. I knew. Okay, so it's great for following your instincts. Your gut often arises during situations regarding safety and preservation. So it sounds like, I don't think we should hang out with that person, do that thing, go here, but I don't know why. You feel it, but you don't know why. You don't have this concrete reason why you feel that way. You just do. But it's not a quiet thing. It's not your heart. Most of the time, it's your gut. You're just like, oh, I don't know. It doesn't feel right. I don't know. I was having a hard time coming up with what this wouldn't be great for because your instincts are often really great. But I don't feel like this is great for long-term decisions. So like a decision that's going to stand for a long time. I feel like this is an in the moment safety mechanism decision-making process of like, I don't think so. I don't think we should go there with that person today. I don't know why, but I don't think so. Or I really feel like we should do this. I don't know why, but it feels important. It's in the moment. It's not really like a sit down and check in with your gut sort of thing. Um, the warning on this one, you can dilute this decision making, like the potency of this decision making process through rationalizing, reasoning, and listening to other people. You can totally dilute it out. And this is when we come to those after the fact moments and you're like, oh, I knew it. I knew it. You're like, why did I listen to them? Why did I talk myself out of it or into it or whatever? And it takes practice to tune into it and disregard all the other decision-making methods. The superlative that came to me on this one was the bouncer, because it's like tough. It's like, I don't think so, but you can talk your way past this bouncer. You really can. The bouncer's going to be at the door. He's like, this isn't a good idea, yo. And you can be like, but my friend's inside, but, you can talk your way past him if you really wanted to. That's just the visual I got on this one, and I kind of love it, so we're rolling with it. Okay, the nervous system. You can make decisions based on your nervous system. Now, your nervous system does a lot. It has like 6 different functions, but we are going to focus on your sympathetic and kind of your parasympathetic nervous system. Your sympathetic nervous system is responsible for the fight or flight, your emergency, stressful. It prepares you for those kinds of situations. When you're in traffic and you hit the brakes real hard because somebody swerved in front of you, that's your nervous system making a decision for you, which is so great. We love our nervous system. We really do. Our nervous system does a lot for us, regulates our body and digestive system, a whole bunch. We love the nervous system, and it can get in the way. The parasympathetic is more of like the calm down and recover. And sometimes we have to kind of engage that manually. So when your nervous system is making decisions, it sounds like I'm scared or afraid of this. I have anxiety around this. I just can't get myself to do this. So if I let my nervous system make decisions around the podcast, that would be like, I just can't get myself to record. I can't get myself to do it. I just can't do it. I just have all of this like, ah, that's what that sounds like. So your nervous system is really great at making decisions for emergency situations, survival, real emergency situations, hitting the brake in traffic, and survival things when you truly, truly need that fight or flight response. Your nervous system is great for making decisions there. Your nervous system is not great for making decisions when you are pursuing things outside of your comfort zone, when you're growing and becoming a new person, when you're trying new things, when you want to become someone new. Your nervous system is going to freak out. And your nervous system freaks out because as you become a new person, a new version of yourself, you are essentially killing off the old version of yourself, or at least portions of it, right? You are becoming a new person. And your nervous system is like, that's dangerous. We've never been that person before. How do we know that's even safe? And it's going to freak out. And if you let your nervous system make decisions, you will stay in your comfort zone over and over again. You won't grow, you won't make progress, and you won't reach the goals that you want to reach, the goals that your heart decided on. Your heart was like, let's do this. The heart wants it. Your nervous system is like, no, that's scary. So you can't make those decisions from your nervous system. So the warning here is that your nervous system is on the lookout for danger, and it will rear up for things that appear to be a threat, even if it's something that you really want. So when I was talking to Jake last night, this is what came up. I told him, I was like, my nervous system is freaking out. And all of my logic, all of my heart, all of this, it's in opposition to my nervous system, but I realized, that's what I realized this morning, that I was making the decisions based on the nervous system. I knew what was logically correct. I knew what my heart wanted. I know all of those things, but I was letting my nervous system run the show. And that's just not going to turn out well. So the superlative for this one is the nervous system is the paranoid one. It's freaking out. And you can't make decisions from that place, especially when you're going for growth and development and becoming. Okay, the next one is habit. We make decisions out of habit. This one's running in the background, right? We don't even realize that it's doing it sometimes. This sounds like, I always do this. I never do this. Or I didn't even think about that. When you're doing something and somebody's like, how about you do it this way? And you're like, what? I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think didn't even come to my mind. Didn't even think about it. This is a great place for making decisions for continuing intentional ways of being that serve you and that perpetuate the life experience that you want. This is great. Habit decisions are great for that. If you have a habit of daily exercise or daily meditation or daily reading or showering every day, those are great habits that support you. Those are decisions that you don't make on a daily basis, or if you do, that's fine, but then it wouldn't necessarily be a habit. But the habits that support you, you don't really make the decision on a daily basis. You just do it, and it keeps you going in the direction that you want to go. It's not great for continuing ways of being that don't serve you or are even destructive. If you have destructive habits that are actually hurting you, this is not going to be a great place to make decisions. Now, of course, the warning is that once it's a habit, it's hard to change because you're not even thinking about it. You're not doing it from a conscious place. You're just doing it. You're not even thinking about it anymore. And you have to observe and catch yourself doing these things in order to change them. And changing them will require making the same decision over and over and over again until that new decision becomes automatic. So the superlative for this one is the sneaky one because it's there and kind of sneaky because it's in the background. It's just like running around and you don't even notice it sometimes. Or at least you don't notice it until after you've done it. Like, ah, crap, I can't believe I did that again. And that's not. Okay. In all transparency, my mic died. So that's really exciting. Okay, we were on the last method of decision making, which is the outside. Now, as we've been talking about all the other methods of decision making, this has all happened within you, within your body, within your head, your heart, your gut, your nervous system, your habits. Those are all within you. And then there's this last one, the outside, which we turn to maybe more than we should. So the outside is loud, potentially confusing, and it sounds like everyone does this. They say this is the best thing. They say not to do this. This is really great for collaborative situations when you need to make decisions as a group, whether it's a family or work or friendship or whatever. Making decisions based on the outside is really great for that. This is not so great for making personal life decisions. It's just not. Now, here's the warning. You can find an outside source that says basically anything. So as an example, you can search up like the best diet, right? And there will be all of these places, all of these resources that tell you what the best diet is. You should really eat this and stay away from these things. And then there's going to be a place that's like, actually, these things are really good because they do this and you should stay away from this and blah, 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 right? There's all of that. And then there are the people who are like, yeah, you should really eat based on like, the way your body absorbs nutrients or your body type or blah, blah, whatever. Like we've got all of these things from the outside trying to tell us things. Now, I'm not saying don't go to the outside. The outside is really great to get supportive information. You can get your friends' opinions or your parents' opinions, or you can read the Amazon reviews, get the information, and then use one of the methods that's within you to make that decision. Of course, you can say, you can ask your parents or your loved one, like, what goals should I pursue? Like, what do you think is a good fit for me? And they can give you suggestions based on what they know about you and how you light up and how you, get downtrodden and whatever. They can give you suggestions. They can give you their perspective. And then you get to take that in and you get to decide, do I believe this? Does this feel true for me? Is this something that like you get to tap into one of your inner guidance systems and actually make the decision from there. It's tempting to make decisions from an outside source because we want to be liked, because we want to fit in, and their opinions are everywhere. That's like an influencer, that's like their whole job is to influence people to buy the products. And sometimes it's like, man, I'm really glad they suggested this because it's been great. And sometimes it's like, I don't even know why I bought that. They're just really good at marketing. So the superlative I gave this one is the convincing one because it's something that's convincing you one way or another. Okay, so this episode has been really, really fun. I'm sorry for the little disjointedness here towards the end as my mic died without any, warning. But I want you to know I have written up notes on all 6 of these methods of decision making, and I'm turning that into a PDF for you. You can download for free, subscribe to my newsletter, and I'll send it to you, and you can use it as a little cheat sheet for your decision making. And of course, you'll want to feel into which decision making process is best for whatever it is that you're making a decision on. I hope that throughout this episode, you've gotten the vibe that they're all good at things. All of these decision making processes are great. They're not all great for everything, though. They all have their place. They all have their purpose. And you, as the decision maker, you get to decide which method to employ when. And then off you go. Okay, so in the show notes, find the link to my newsletter. Go ahead and subscribe. I'll send the PDF right to you. My newsletter is super fun. If you aren't on it already, I send an email every Wednesday, and it's like my podcast in written form. You'll be able to hear me through it. I promise you. You'll be able to be like, oh yeah, that's so Megan. Oh my gosh, I can hear her. Especially if you've been a long time listener, you'll be able to hear me. So it's really fun. And yeah, that's what I've got to today. Thank you so much for sticking with me for this long episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed preparing it. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.